Hey everyone, how's it going today and welcome back to another update. So as most of you guys know from one of the past updates already, but the big recap is that Joe Manchin has sadly now officially denied the fourth stimulus package, but specifically the social programs otherwise known as the Build Back Better plan. Well, the big new information that we do have in today's update that I really just want to give I guess a brand new update about is that President Joe Biden has now officially signed a brand new fourth stimulus, kind of like a mini defense bill that is supposed to help the country in certain specific ways. And the big one is that there is now a lot of politicians that are now officially coming out and trying to essentially push President Joe Biden in order to sign executive orders, which is basically just a way to approve bills on a very emergency fly. If you remember from last year, Donald Trump did that. President Trump, he did it when we had to sign extra unemployment at the very last minute. There are limitations to how or what you can physically do with it. So in today's update, I want to talk all about that. So we're going to get started, but as always, maybe real fast before we begin, 10 seconds, consider smashing the like button. If you guys enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing and hitting the bell. And as always, feel free to comment any questions, maybe personal thoughts about what you think about this bill so far and maybe what's going to happen, or honestly just really anything. Always great to say hi to new and familiar faces, and also happy holidays. So with that being said, let's get this video started. So the first thing that we're really going to talk about is about the brand new bill that President Biden has officially signed just a few days ago, which is right here. What this essentially is some people were kind of wanting me to cover that. It's pretty much a $770 billion defense bill, and the goal of this bill essentially is to help and support the country with everything related to the military and also foreign affairs. So what this does is that it's going to fund and bring money, as the name suggests, the defense bill, including things such as like improving things related to aircrafts, ships, high-tech software, and then interestingly also things related to certain foreign affairs like being able to protect against China, Ukraine, essentially trying to build up the country's military to protect them from potential war or conflict to potentially happen. The other big thing, and I guess this is the part that maybe is more relevant to a lot of people, is that there is something inside of this bill about trying to essentially increase the pay or the benefits for anyone that happens to be either a military or a veteran worker or a service worker of some kind. So there is a little bit of a benefit if you happen to maybe be someone or know someone that served the country, or is, especially if it's currently serving the country, then this is the benefit to it. More pay, more benefits, more services, and essentially like a better working condition inside for people that work in that industry. And the great news is that this bill has officially been approved on bipartisan means, which means that it's officially set. Now, what they are still negotiating about to this day is the Build Back Better plan, which is what I really want to talk about next. So the story with the Build Back Better plan is that ever since what happened with the Joe Manchin situation, President Joe Biden to this day, he's essentially still trying to come to some kind of common ground or negotiate it with Joe Manchin and other fellow politicians about how they're going to work things together. The big, maybe huge brand new information is now Representative Jayapal, who is just simply put is that she's one of the biggest figures in the world of just progressive politics. And what she's really trying to do now is that she wants to essentially encourage President Biden. Technically, there are many politicians that are trying to push Biden to do this. She just happens to be the leader of a lot of the politicians or the movement to do it. And what she basically wants is President Joe Biden to sign some kind of executive order in order to extend certain programs, even if it's only partial programs, before they expire within the fourth stimulus package. So examples of this, probably the most prominent one would be like the child tax credit. As most of you guys know, is that there is a $3,000 to $3,600 stimulus check that is paid evenly broken up into different parts for people that own families per child, depending on the age of the child. But the sad thing is that this program is about to end very, very soon. So what she wants to do is to encourage President Joe Biden to sign an executive order in order to prevent this, even if it has to come through some kind of very specialized specific bill with just this particular program. Now, the big thing I will also say, maybe just, a blast from the past is that this is actually technically what President Donald Trump did last year. So regardless of personal opinion about him, if you guys remember is that when the unemployment benefits expired the first time last year, we ended up going through like a gap situation where it was very difficult because they ended the unemployment program. But thankfully, because of the executive orders, and again, regardless of your opinion about which party you support, the big idea is that objectively speaking, he did sign executive orders to extend the unemployment by about 6 weeks while they negotiate to actually get a longer plan related to unemployment. So what exactly is the significance of everything I just mentioned is really about the fact is that the great news is that it means that all of these plans are still very much on the table. The not so great news is that it means that they're still struggling to come to an agreement. But maybe the hopeful great news is that it shows that deep down inside, Biden actually has a lot more power than a lot of people I think. However, the big thing I will admit is that he is a little bit hesitant to do executive orders and things related to that because there are certain limitations. The first limitation has to do with the budget situation because our country right now is in a lot of debt. I believe something around over $27 trillion in debt, and I think around like $2 trillion in just the last year. But the idea is a lot of money. And the second is much more about just ethics in general, but it's that as a core, President Joe Biden has always been someone that is really just trying to create unity inside of just Congress in general. But this is especially true with people inside of his own party, which in this specific case, we would be basically talking about Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. So the big idea is that he does have the power, but what he physically actually does with it, that is probably the big takeaway to what we're currently waiting for right now. But beyond that is that that's what I really just wanted to share in today's update, so hopefully to follow up about the Build Back Better plan. I will say is that because there are so many different changes that are happening, it is still very possible for stimulus checks. We're not saying it's going to happen, but we do say is that it's definitely not off of the table. Even if they technically have already actually started to do a lot of state-specific checks and focus checks. I did make a video that talks about specific checks that are actually approved and now available for very, very specific people, but specifically about a couple 100,000 people, so that's definitely a lot of people. I'll put that at the very, very end screen, so definitely check that out. It'll probably be in the lower part of the end screen. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay well. Maybe feel free to comment any questions, thoughts, predictions, or about what, honestly, just anything or what you think about the situation. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy holidays. Have a great new year. Hopefully everyone had a great Merry Christmas. And crazy, we're at the very, very final stretch of this year. But of course, hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.